Hello, my name is Victoria Rivera and I'm a wellness psychotherapist in New York City, and welcome to Mental Health Wellness Wednesday. So I guess I'm kind of having a series on being outside in New York, and I just thought, this is happened to be around the Central Park Conservatory, and I thought, it might be nice to actually do Mental Health Wellness Wednesday, particularly after coming off of a vacation that I had, or a visitation actually, with my family in upstate New York, where I spent probably about 80% of the time outside because I really felt such a deprivation of not being able to go outside for like 3.5 months. So I think it was a combination of, having to kind of stay inside and not not able to go outside and to be in nature and to connect with the world in some ways. And then it was also a combination, a function too, of not being able to socialize and having to physically distance. So I think kind of being outside helped to so much. And so, I just started thinking more about that, and just like kind of, going to the beach and connecting with the water, how important that is for us, how important nature is for us. One thing that I noticed is, and within myself as I'm doing this, but also about our nervous system. And when we talk about our autonomic nervous system, it goes two ways, right? The fight, flight, and freeze, which is the sympathetic part, and the parasympathetic part, which is the rest, digest, and breathe and breed. And so oftentimes when you are in a stressful situation or when you feel unsafe, you automatically, unconsciously, and you don't even really quite know, go into the sympathetic part of your nervous system. And so a lot of us are actually releasing hormones throughout the day that is telling our bodies that we're in an emergency situation. And we've talked about this before, especially when you have a sense of feeling uncertainty and you don't feel safe, the tendency is to try to figure out what the problem is. And then often that leads your brain to ruminate about the past and think about things and trying to solve problems that happened in the past, or try to predict the future so that you are able to have some sort of certainty and control, which is what our brains want. So in thinking about everything, how is nature kind of helps? How does nature help, right? Nature helps actually because it helps us to bring down our sympathetic part of the nervous system. If you notice, as you're looking, hopefully you're looking at some of the trees behind me, maybe there might be a bird or some other things. What you'll notice that, I don't have a mask on, I just got a dirty look. Totally understandable. So we talked about before how your nervous system kind of co-regulates itself with other people, but we also co-regulate with our environment. And so being in a beautiful nature environment is very helpful. We have to understand that we've only been in buildings for a couple of hundred years, as opposed to being around for thousands of years as humans. And so it's such an important part of who we are as a species, and sometimes that gets lost. And of course, because we were in quarantine, it was really challenging for many of us to get out because of safety issues, which is totally understandable. And now as we are moving, New York is in phase 3. So one of the things that I think is helpful, especially when you are utilizing nature to decrease your parasympathetic nervous system response, is to just go through the activity of the 5 sense perception. So it was a mindfulness exercise that I talked about a couple of weeks ago, but we'll do it here. So 5 would be looking at 5 things and identifying 5 things in the environment that you can see. So, looking at the trees and looking at bushes and people and identifying 5 things that helps to get you in the present moment. The other is identifying 4 sounds that you could hear. Now you could hear some maybe rustling in the bushes, you could hear some power tools, you could hear different kinds of birds. So being able to kind of attune your hearing to what you're hearing in the environment. That also helps you to stay in the present moment. And number 3 would be to what can you feel? Are you feeling the wind? Are you feeling like the ground on your feet? The leaves like hitting your skin? So connecting to 3 things that you can feel. And 2 would be 2 things that you could smell. Oh, there's a bug on me. 2 things that you could smell. So the fresh air, maybe grass, whatever it is. And then the last thing is 1 thing that you can taste. And just that is helpful, and usually it's something that we could do on a daily basis, especially when you're in nature, to be in the present moment. The other thing I would say is you could hear that somebody's probably doing a TikTok or doing a video, and so you're hearing music. And most people, I think, kind of come here to want to be relaxed. And sometimes, other people come here to do TikTok. And so if they're doing TikTok, and you're hearing something that you're not necessarily enjoying, it's also a good practice, because it can help you to focus on something else and to reorient your mind and your senses to other sounds. So actually, like maybe listening to the birds, or you can even just listen to the song and listen to the music and connect with that, even if it's something that you're not necessarily wanting to participate in at this point. So I think that that's also a really good mindfulness activity, is sometimes we have to listen to or experience unpleasant things or feel unpleasant things in many ways, and just being in the present moment is very helpful in order to practice that technique of managing your emotions and staying in the present moment no matter what is actually happening. So I hope that's helpful. I took some footage of the conservatory, so I'll add it on to this just so you can see it. I think it's such a beautiful place, and I think if you can get out in nature and really just connect to your breath and to this mindfulness exercise, you will definitely feel your nervous system calm down. And if you could do this every day, maybe you might not feel it consciously, unconsciously, your body will be reacting, your cells will be reacting, and you will feel so much better. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this is helpful, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye. So today I thought I would just take you on a little bit of a nature walk. This is actually in Central Park. It is a Central Park Conservatory. It has different beautiful landscaping, trees and leaves and bushes and flowers and birds and squirrels, all kinds of beautiful things, including humans. And just to show you a little bit of what I'm looking at, want to share with you. See, there's a few people, some people dancing, some people just enjoying the weather and the day, and being able to connect to that. So here's just some of the things that I'm looking at. Beautiful. Look at the bee. It's huge. It's getting flower. I know a lot of people are afraid of bees, but at the end of the day, they're just living their lives, trying to live their best life and getting what they need from the world, just like we're all trying to do. So the less fear you have about them, unless you're allergic, so you gotta be careful, the better you are at appreciating some of the nature. I know that a lot of people don't like bugs and or even birds, and have a hard time kind of being able to be in nature and connecting with something like this. Well, you can't sit here and look at something like this, oh, there's a cardinal, and say that this is not affecting your mood. Now, oftentimes when we're in our heads, it's hard for our brains to actually process what is happening and being in the present moment. And so that's when you kind of actively have to be mindful and get in touch with your senses. And being out in nature actually helps you to do that. on so many different levels. And oh, look, there is a black squirrel. Oh, so cute. I know a lot of people feel like they're just rats with fluffy tails. I don't have that sentiment about those, about squirrels. I really like them. Anyway, so these are just the little things I think in life that probably for most of us, especially after quarantine, we're really appreciating. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure that you do go out, you connect to nature. That's how we co-regulate ourselves, and also with other people who are particularly soothing. That can be very helpful in regulating your nervous system. Thank you, and I will see you next week. Bye.